She holds a doctoral degree in engineering, a Master of Business Administration, and a postgraduate diploma in higher education, as well as a certificate in artificial intelligence for industry. Professor Tebogo Mashifana.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a great honor to be here this afternoon. And I believe that each and every one of the learners that are attending this expo will take something from the session today. So when I received the invitation to come and speak here, I was given a topic, a day in the life of a chemical engineer. Well, I'm actually a professor at the University of Johannesburg, so it was a bit difficult for me to actually look into that yes, I'm a chemical engineer by profession, but how best can I prepare for this session to ensure that the learners benefit from it? So I thought that I will start by this slide here, just to talk briefly about myself, and the pictures, they're really showing all the areas or the heads rather, that I wear. An associate professor, I am a researcher, I am an innovator, I'm a professional engineering technologist registered with the Engineering Council of South Africa. I serve in numerous committee members and in board. I'm a board member. I'm a deaconess at church. I'm a mother of two, a wife, a mentor, and a servant. I strongly believe in lifting others as I rise and giving back and plowing back to my communities. So I will start by this here. So what is chemical engineering? Every single time I'm asked this question, I always say that chemical engineering is everything. Everything, because every single thing that each and every one of us here has touched, has seen this morning, has a chemical engineer behind it. And I normally give an example, a simple one, the lotion that you used this morning. There's a chemical engineer that came up with the process for that. There's a chemical engineer that designed an equipment to ensure that we are manufacturing that. There's a chemical engineer that was behind the scene adding A and B so that we get that product. And chemical engineering is a discipline where we look into designing processes to transport, transform, and produce material. It is really where we're looking into so many raw materials that are available, and we're looking into producing products from that. And one of the fundamental things about this discipline is that you need to have the knowledge or the fundamental principles related to physics, chemistry, and mathematics. And there are really wide range of careers within this discipline. I know when I was a first-year student, I thought that chemical engineering was all about chemicals, being in the laboratory and working with chemicals. But today, I really want to show, especially the learners, about the diversity of the discipline in chemical engineering. So these are some of the sub-branches of chemical engineering. You can actually work as a petrochemical engineer, petroleum engineer, biochemical engineer, textile engineer, in the food industry as a food technologist, a food engineer, in the water treatment space, as a process controller, as a process engineer, pulp and pulp industry, where you can work as a pulp and paper engineer, nuclear engineer, polymer. I think the list is really endless. That is the beauty about this discipline, is that it does not limit you to only one thing. So if you decide to do chemical engineering and venture into petrochemical engineering, what is it that you'll be doing? This is really where you're going to be looking at refining of crude petroleum to process various products such as petrol, diesel, and kerosene oil. And really, Sasol Expo, that is where we are today. That is really the discipline where you will work as a chemical engineer, or the industry where you will work as a chemical engineer. And in petroleum engineering or engineer, that's where you're going to be looking into designing and developing different methods to extract gas, oil from deposit under the earth. In biochemical engineering, this really looks into applying cutting-edge technology to biological materials, systems, and processes in order to create new products. There's also an area of biotechnology engineering, which is really looking into fusing biology and technology to research and developing new products thereof. And you can see one common things about all the disciplines, all the sub-branches that I've presented, it is the raw material to the final products. In textile engineering, this is where you're going to be looking into designing and control of technologies within the sector, which includes research and development. And one can actually think, wow, we even fit in the automotive industry. Yes, it's not only about chemicals. We actually fit in there because we learn, we acquire knowledge and skills to be designers. So in that space, we're really looking into designing of cars. We're looking into developing new materials that can be used in that particular industry. Food technology and food engineering, we work closely with food scientists to produce natural and artificial flavors that we can use for our food. I spoke about water and treatment industries. We have so many water treatment plants in our country, right there, and I know so many of our graduates that are working there as process controllers, as process engineers, ensuring that the water that we get in our tap is actually clean water. I actually worked in a mining industry as a chemical engineer. I worked there as a metallurgist. So you can just see the diverse there, that in the gold mining industry, for example, you can actually work as a metallurgist. And in that, really running the process in the plant, ensuring that you are meeting production and so forth. And you can also work as a polymer engineer, working in developing and manufacturing of polymers, and obviously some of these polymers that can replace the plastic that we normally have or using on a daily basis that is affecting our environment. And yes, banking industry, we find ourselves, a chemical engineer, do work also in the banking industry. We conduct research, and we can also really work as consultant. So me being in academia, in the academic space, what does my work entail? When you're looking into that, there are 4 key areas that I'm actually required to participate in or serve in as a chemical engineer in the academic space. I teach, I'm a lecturer, I teach honors modules in advanced environmental engineering. I conduct research, and not just conducting research, but conducting research that is addressing and solving some of the challenges that we are experiencing in our country. And obviously, we're not just conducting research, we also required to publish. I supervise postgraduate students, I supervise undergraduate students. I stated that I am an innovator. I have a registered patent whereby I've developed a patent from the work that I have done, converting solid waste to building material. And the most important one, and one that is so close to my heart, we are required to serving our community. I've spoken about lifting as I rise. That is actually one of the KPIs that we need to find ourselves doing or performing under, whereby we really, really go into our communities and ensuring that we are making an impact, turning the research that we are doing, whether it is through teaching and learning, whether it is through mentorship, whereby we are really making an impact and lifting others as we rise. And the last one, Ray, is leadership. We are required, or I am required, to serve in so many committees, contribute, make decisions that will ensure that we are really developing the strategies of our university. The impact and the products, I thought that it would be beneficial to also show this, because sometimes when people think of a chemical engineer in the academic space, they just think about teaching and marking and just being in front of the students. That is not the reality. There are so many other exciting things in the space. The one that I love the most is the first one there, to serve humanity, that the space really present me with the opportunity to serve my community, to serve my student. And I said the byproduct there, all of that are some of the byproducts in respect to awards, recognition that I've received nationally, and some of them internationally. And obviously, traveling the world, the academic space allows me with that opportunity to travel the world. I've been to so many countries, visiting so many countries, collaborating with so many prestigious scholars internationally. So what is the beginning? What does it take to become a chemical engineer, obviously you need to enroll for a degree in chemical engineering. I actually thought it would be useful to also just to put the universities, 5 universities, and their APS score. What is it is required? This speaks of academic excellence. That is important that when you're thinking of being a chemical engineer, you actually achieve all of that. What does it take? It takes all of that, sacrifices, sleepless nights, dedication, resilience, faith and hope, commitment and focusing on that big picture. And lastly, just to say that whatever that we are doing, we need to help each other grow. A candle does not lose its light by lighting other candles. Thank you.